Now, breaking news from NBC4.
And we interrupt the Today Show for breaking news this morning. The Franklin County prosecutor is expected to make a big announcement regarding the deaths of two Westerville police officers. We're going to listen in on that press conference right now as soon as we get that shot set up.
At least to the front door of that premises and were shot and killed in the line of duty of performing that law enforcement function. The Franklin County Grand Jury, and I want to commend both the Columbus Division of Police that did the investigation at the request of Chief Morbitzer, but Chief Morbitzer's people had other things to be concerned with in that Westerville Police family, and Detective Shepard, as well as everyone in connection with the CERT team and homicide, did a great job and produced this file for us that we have reviewed. And I might add that we had contact both with the chief and Detective Shepard throughout the investigation that has been ongoing since that time, seeking the forensic evidence and otherwise. The case was presented to Franklin County Grand Jury yesterday, and a 6-count indictment was returned for aggravated murder in count 1 for Anthony Morelli. There are 2 death penalty specifications attached to that count. The first one, a murder of a law enforcement officer, known to be a law enforcement officer who's in the performance of his duties at the time of the crime. Specification 2 is, of course, a conduct specification, which means that the murder was committed in a case where more than 2 people or more than 1 person was murdered, in this case 2, and there are multiple firearm specifications that are attached to each of these counts. First, a 54-month, and usually a firearm spec is 36 months, 3 years, but when you have someone with a prior conviction for a firearm spec, both under a law proposed by us, the Attorney General Mike DeWine, and Jim Hughes, a local state senator at the time. There is an enhanced firearm spec if you have a prior firearm spec, and this man, Quentin Smith, did. From a conviction in Cuyahoga County of an F2 burglary or a second-degree felony burglary, and a firearm spec in that case, along with a domestic violence conviction back in, I believe, 2009. The firearm spec is 54 months, and because he used a firearm in shooting at a police officer, it is a 126-month firearm spec. And if you add that up, that is about 10 and a half years. So the specification on that count and on the other counts carries an additional 10 years in addition to the principal offense penalties. He also is alleged in that count to be a repeat violent offender, and that he had a prior conviction for an offense of violence, the second-degree burglary in Cuyahoga County. Count 2 is identical aggravated murder, except for the fact in that Eric Joring is the officer who is the victim. There are the same 2 death penalty specs, murder of a law enforcement officer in a course of conduct where 2 people are murdered. We have the same firearm specs. In this case, as in most cases that we have, not only homicides but other offenses, robberies and burglaries, we have some backup charges, and that would be a count of murder as to each officer as a lesser included offense, to make sure that a jury has all available charges in front of them should there be an issue between the time of indictment and trial. And as we know, the officers responded to a domestic violence call. The investigation shows that there was a basis to include in the indictment a felony for domestic violence. It becomes a felony, not a misdemeanor, because of the prior conviction in May of '09 in Cuyahoga County involving a former wife of the defendant, Quentin Smith, of domestic violence, and finally, because of those two felony convictions, he shouldn't have had that gun in the first place, and I think we know there's a separate federal court proceeding for the person as a straw purchaser who bought that gun for him. The indictment was just filed this morning, and I contacted Chief Morbitzer because I think we all know with the public support the two officers' family and the Division of Police in Westerville received, this case has a high public interest, as it should. And so I'm happy, and I think the chief would probably be happy. Detective Shepard is here not to answer questions. I can answer any questions that may be directed to him, because I think internally in the Division of Police they have a PIO who answers questions. So I wanted to make sure, because he did all the hard work on the case, that his work was recognized by his attendance here. And I know that Jason Pappas from the Fraternal Order of Police is likewise here, I think probably to show the support of their local that represents all officers in this county. So I'm happy to answer any questions that any of you may have.
You said that there is a process when it goes to death penalty. What are the facts that you did have to consider here, and how about the officers' families? What did they want in this case? Do they want him to see the death penalty?
Well, Chief Morbitzer in Westerville Police early on in the investigation appointed a liaison officer for us to work with the victim's family, and almost for probably a month or more we've had continuing contact both with the chief and the division. And in any case, we make sure that the victims of and the victim survivors are in accord with us seeking the death penalty. That doesn't control what we want to do, but at least we like to know the views of the victim's family, and without quoting them, at least.
We just heard from the Franklin County prosecutor announcing that he will seek the death penalty for Quentin Smith. He's the man accused of killing Westerville police officers Eric Joring and Anthony Morelli, who were both killed in the line of duty. We'll have much more on this announcement coming up in just a little bit on NBC4 at midday. We'll also have updates throughout the day on our website, NBC4i.com. We now want to return you to the Today Show and regular programming.